My name is Daniel, and I will be the host for the nearest future. We are here today to talk a little about local democracy and how the municipality can interact with their local citizens in order to strengthen local democracy. At the studio, I have got 4 guests, and maybe we should start to present ourselves just a little. Janet, could you say something about who you are, what you're doing here, and your name also, of course?
Okay, Daniel. My name is Jeanette. I'm from South Africa, Tlokwe City Council. We are from the communication unit there in South Africa. We just came here for that exchange program between our city council and Växjö City Council.
Thanks. And next one.
My name is Willie Maposa. I'm the communications manager at Tlokwe City Council in Potchefstroom. We are here just to share experiences and learn about how better to communicate with our communities.
Me, I'm Margriet. I'm also from Tlokwe. I'm the graphic designer and the communication officer, and so glad to be here in Växjö and to experience everything.
And my name is Henrik Nilsson, and I am the host for the South African guests. And I work as a public relations manager for the city of Växjö.
Okay. So is it your first visit here in Växjö, or have you been here before?
We have been here before. I think the program is a multi-year program. I think it started 2 years ago. We have been here the first year and the second year. Last year was our second year, and this is the third.
The project this is the third year of the project, and it's about public relations and exchanging knowledge and the best practices.
Okay.
We are looking into each other's way of working and how we communicate and how we work both in South Africa and here in Sweden.
Okay. Our Swedish viewers, of course, knows much about Växjö, but I think they do not know very much about Tlokwe City Council. Could any of you, maybe you, Jeanette, could you maybe tell us a little about where do you find Tlokwe City Council on the world map? It's in South Africa, we know, of course, but
Yeah, Tlokwe City Council, as we said, 120 kilometers from Johannesburg. It's in the northwest region. Like here, we are not talking about the provinces; we are saying regions. So it's around the northwest province. It's a big city. It's not that different from Växjö as a city council also.
Margriet, you told us that you have been here for a couple of days now. You arrived this Monday, and it's Thursday now. Yeah. So you have been able to see some things during the days here. Could you maybe tell us a little about what have you seen, what visits have you made, and so on? How do you experience the program?
We enjoyed it. It's so beautiful, especially this autumn time with all the colors, and we find that you've got such a clean city. Everything is so clean, and everyone is so friendly, and we like it very much, actually.
And it's cold.
It's cold, yeah, but it's like and fresh and cold. Okay. And we did a bicycle trip last night.
Okay.
Me and a colleague of us, and it was really very nice.
What would you say is the best thing? I mean, apart from bicycling and that stuff, more professionally maybe. Yes. What are you learning from cooperating with the city of Växjö?
We're learning especially all the different tools and the free tools available to us to use that back in South Africa and Potchefstroom. That's our town's our city's name, Potchefstroom. How to apply all these free tools to communicate better with our community. We're all 3 from the communication unit, and we're nice and busy. But we can make use of all these free tools, and everyone in Växjö assisted us in that.
this week has been about new media and how we can, as a municipality or a representative of city council, use this new media in order to communicate with our citizens. And we've talked a lot about the website and how to develop the website and to use free tools in order to make the communication easier. And we've also looked into local radio and local TV, and we've had a few minutes of discussion about the new social media as well. But the focus on this week has been on new media and mainly on website and website development.
And Henrik, what would you say that the city of Växjö could learn from Tlokwe? I mean, you said before that you have now been cooperating for nearly 3 years. So what, I mean, soft or maybe hard outputs have come out of the cooperation, which has gained you as a municipality?
One of the things that I come to think of first is the similarities between our work. We face the same problems. We face the same fight against the same issues. We've learned that they are very well organized. They have the political system in South Africa is very close to the citizens. In Sweden, the politicians tend to hide themselves between the elections. But the system in South Africa with wards and how the politicians work closely and nearby the citizens is one of the things that we learned, and how you promote your politicians as well. In Sweden, we do not, as our information department, does not handle any political issues at all. We just give information about our services, but you also work with the politicians to make them well known in their own wards. You make big signs and stuff like that, and that's one of the things that we've learned.
Willie, I just wonder, do you share Henrik's experiences of things that you have in common? Henrik was talking about things that you share, that you have the same issues, same problems in some senses. Do you share that picture, or would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think we basically do have some of the challenges that are common to us, as municipalities. I think for the 2 years that we have been cooperating, or 3 years or so, I think the challenge that we face, I think, is the issue of being able to identify our targets properly, and also sharpening or fashioning the tools that we communicate with those targets so that we can reach them much more effectively and efficiently. I've seen that we've got various people that we need to communicate to. On Monday we visited one town meeting. I think it was in Lemuld.
Yeah, in Lemuld, the direct democracy meeting.
Yeah, I think what we noticed there, we saw that most of the people who attended the meeting were rather aged people or elderly people. But also, I think the similarity in that is with us. People who attend these meetings are normally people who normally are semi-literate or literate. They tend in big numbers for these kind of meetings. But your professionals and the youth, to a certain extent, do not attend meetings. So we need to find ways of reaching them much more effectively and efficiently.
If we stop a little and talk about, you were mentioning youth, young people. How do you see, Willie, that young people in South Africa are taking part in the democracy? How are they, advocating interests or raising their voices? Are they going to meetings? How are they working with these issues?
Yeah, in our country, young people are fairly political and very active, very vocal. These meetings, when they are called, they turn up in large numbers, and they participate. So yeah, they are very, very, very participative, especially during times of elections. Most parties, or even all parties, use young people, to organize and to canvass so they are very vocal and they are very active. So they are politically interested in issues of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also have various number of youth structures. They are more involved in youth structures. They are political structures that are youth orientated. So they belong to most of the youth organizations that are there. Some are political, some are not political, but they are mostly involved there.
One big thing in Sweden, I think, when talking to local democracy and participation is the question how to get to the younger people, how to reach them, how to hear them out, and so on. Henrik, how do you look upon this situation and maybe solutions in Sweden, if compared to the South African context?
I mean, in Sweden, the youth do not engage in political work that much anymore. They tend to sometimes they talk about the issues that are close to their heart, but political parties know they are not interested to join them, and they are not members anymore. So that's one of the reasons that we actually are talking about social media as well. We are talking about Facebook, we are talking about Twitter and YouTube and all these different channels, because that's one way to reach out to the youth, I think. And we need to find out where are they, and we need to talk to them using those channels that they are using, and using a language that they are using. So this new media and this new wave of social media is very important for us to look into. I do not have the solutions in how to engage people in political work, but we need to look up on these channels in nearby future. Otherwise, we will be always be 2 steps behind, and we want to be more proactive and want to have more of a communication with our citizens, both youth and elderly people. Then we need to look up on different channels and how we speak and how can we reach different target groups with those different channels. So.
Some people say that tools of the social media. You mentioned Twitter, and you mentioned
there are lots of
that those tools are not serious tools. It's more like children playing games with a computer or the cell phone. But according to you, these methods could be vital methods in order to reach out to the target group.
There are lots of companies already using Facebook, for instance, to promote their products, and I mean design companies that are talking about their latest collection in clothes, for instance, and you can get a preview on their YouTube channel, and you can discuss the latest design or the latest colors or the latest trends on their Facebook account. So yeah, the companies are already there, so why shouldn't we be there as well? But we have to be careful in how we use it. And I mean, it's different to run a company than to run a municipality, and we agree upon that. So we have to be careful. But we also agree upon it in the future. We need to look at these new channels to communicate. The citizens are there, so we must be there as well.
I think the advantage with those kinds of tools again is that they afford you the opportunity of developing and maintaining dialogue with the people that you communicate with. In other words, you don't just send a message and you don't know what happens with it, but you keep on engaging your people in an ongoing kind of conversation. So you are able to know exactly what those kind of groups do need from your municipality, for example.
From your side, an open question now. Why is it important to communicate with the citizens? I mean, we have got the elected politicians to rule for the citizens, don't we? Or why should we really engage them also between the elections? What do you think?
Sorry. I think it is important to keep on communicating with the people, because the needs of the people change from one time to another. They are not constant. So whilst there may be issues and the reasons why people have elected you into a certain position or political office, those needs change, as the economy changes, as the environment changes. So you need to know, as these kind of issues change, how do they affect your people, and what do they need, taking into account the environment that is changing. So it's very vital to keep on communicating with them, even during the period in between the elections.
So you can adjust your work to what's going on in real life.
Maybe also the importance of communicating with them is to maybe some of them might not know what are the plans of the new elected government. So it's very important to make them aware of the new programs, the upcoming programs. What is it that they need to expect, so that they in order to avoid the confusion between them. Because if we are not communicating with them, they might not know what is it that is going to take place. Maybe the difference between the new government and the old government, the elected, maybe the councillors or the executive mayor. What's the difference? What's the improvement that they are going to come up with as compared to the old or the previous government? So it's important to let them know of the new programs and policies.
What pros and cons are there when you, coming from a quite young democracy, are working together with a city from a country with a rather old traditional democracy? From the first look, one can think that what could you actually teach the city of Växjö when it comes to democracy, channels of how to communicate? As I have understood, this project is to try to balance the interests for both partners, a win-win concept. Do you think it's easy to go into this win-win position?
You mean win-win between council and the people?
I mean that both partners really have got something to win from cooperating.
Yeah. I think what we can teach Växjö is the value of participative democracy. Granted there is this new media and social media, but I think we should also at the same time not lose the value of communicating face to face with the people. I think that is very, very, very critical. It is more personal and it is more heart-to-heart talk, if you may say it. For example, at the Lemult meeting that we saw on Monday, I think this council is getting there, or they are still maintaining the tradition. We need to keep it, but at the same time develop it further to reach out to those other target groups as well, but not giving it away.
Henrik, do you think you talked a little about this social media? Do you think there is a risk to lose this direct, symbolic, physical contact between the elected politician and the citizens if you stress the social medias too much, maybe?
No, I don't think so. Social media will not replace the face-to-face communication. It's rather that the face-to-face communication tends to be more important when you've been on the internet for a whole day. You really want to meet people. You really want to sit down and discuss with your friends and family. So actually using the computer more makes people want to interact with other people more as well. So I think there is a win-win situation. I don't think the social media will replace the face-to-face communication, but I do think that social media is going to be important to increase the face-to-face communication, actually. So that's another angle of looking into social media.
We just got a question from one of our viewers, directed to you, Henrik.
Yes.
Saying, Mr. Henrik,
Yes.
which communication tool is the best for municipalities? Radio, TV, or SMS? Considering the medium you are using now, at this point.
I don't think you can say that one is better than the other. It's always about using different channels, using as many channels as possible in order to reach as many people as possible. So I don't think you should choose one or two, rather use as many as possible. But to communicate with us in the studio, I would recommend the computer and the chat function in the computer, because we don't have any cell phones with us in here. So, but use them all. Use as many as you can, because different people are using different channels.
Margriet, do you think that every political issue could be used for citizen communication? I mean, do you think there are issues more suitable to hand over to citizens in order to hear them out, to use their voice as a ground for political decision making, or I mean, are all issues possible for this, or only specific ones?
Daniel, I do not actually quite understand that. My aim is only to communicate people. Political issues, it's not for me. The communication unit would just like to, I think, communicate the political. It's not for us.
Okay.
Politician tells us to communicate an issue. We will communicate.
Yeah.
Because there is sometimes an understanding that only maybe a bit, maybe just the smaller issues are handed over to the citizens. Issues such as where will we place the new public toilet, there or here? I know that you used this in the city of Växjö, for example, and maybe it could be. Maybe people would like to raise their voice in whole other issues, much more important issues about economics, about bigger projects than just a toilet.
We are planning also to making. People in South Africa are using SMSs very much so, and we are planning to organize a target group. Issues with all the different target groups where the people can correspond to us and tell us where they would like to be involved with, say either culture or art or environmental issues, so that we can contact them on that, and then they can we can communicate with them freely with that.
One example that I liked, during our discussions and interactions here in Växjö was the citizens panel that has been developed within council. I think that's a superb way of also engaging people, giving people a chance. You design a questionnaire, you send it out to a specific kind of people so that they can react, and in their reaction you are able to know exactly as to what do they need in terms of the questions that you have sent out. So I think that is also a very good tool to know what people exactly need. We also heard that the what is it? The skating area?
Yeah, skateboard park. Yeah.
The skateboard park. It also came because of people raising these issues in the newspapers, and council getting to know about them, and then ultimately they did create the park.
I think communicating, this interactive communication, the two-way communication between the city council and the community. It's very important because issues that are politically that are political, we manage to make the politicians aware of those issues, so it becomes easier for them as politicians to handle those issues. Because we've got, like in South Africa, we've got ward councillors. So if there is a community meeting at a certain ward, if there are issues that need political response, we take them to the ward councillor for that ward. So he'll then be able to handle them and respond to the community.
So this ward committee is actually a level beneath the local level or the municipal level, that is?
It's a portion of community. Okay. That the councillor, one councillor is responsible for a portion of community of the area. So each and every councillor is responsible for a portion of a community. So that portion, we call it a ward. Okay. So he's responsible for that area. So he makes sure that there are services rendered for that ward, for that area. Okay.
Mm. We got a new question here from one of the viewers. It's for you, Margriet, saying, you learned a lot during the past week. What is the first thing you would like to do when you get back to the office? Not opening your inbox.
Definitely not. Yes, yeah. Our first issue that we will tackle, I think, is the one of advertising all the people to respond to that, to identify them in the target groups for easy communication. That's the thing that I would love to start with and to get that rolling before the end of the year.
Okay. Mm. My final question then. Could you tell me or tell the viewers a little about the future, maybe this forthcoming project year, of course, and how will you cooperate in the future, you think?
The next step for the project is an internship when one of our South African friends will come to Växjö for 1 week or maybe two, and to work with the website and mostly the website, I think. And then one from us from Växjö will go down to South Africa to work the same time, 1 week or 2 weeks. And then there is a sum up late perhaps in March, April, down in Potchefstroom. I'm going to sum up this project.
Okay. Is it too early to start thinking about, next year and the year after, or are you keeping contact even if there won't be a new project? Are you friends for the rest of your lives now?
I think it is a very good relationship that we have created. We have learned a lot, and I think going forward we need to keep that relationship, even if there is no formal program. But at least I know, but we are going to motivate for it. But we need to keep that relationship going, so that learning is not is not conclusive. It's a lifelong process, and I think in this project we are doing exactly that.
Okay. So the debate is over, and I would like to say thank you so much for participating, and good luck in the future, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. Yes. Thank you.